What's up, guys? Welcome back to Brodie Nero TV. Another big episode. Let's have some fun. Savage and Sheer here. What's up,
Thanks
y'all?
for having us, brother.
Nice, nice. Before we get started, you guys know the deal already. Come on. Like, subscribe, comment on your favorite part, leave your feedback. We'll keep these things coming. We're coming straight from Kenny Parker.
Yes.
Which is a cool brand.
Fresh Threads.
Yes,
Thank you very
from
much.
Australia. And they have a really nice boutique shop here in Canggu. If you check out the description of the video, I'll put the link to the location. Check out their Instagram and shout out Kenny Parker for hooking us up.
That's right.
Nice.
Feeling good, looking good.
Yes, all day, baby. First things first, most important question of the day. How's Kuya? And how much do you guys miss her?
What an intro. What an intro.
Yeah.
Well, she's doing really well.
Yeah,
this
she
is our
is.
dog, guys. We're obsessed with our dog. If you know us, you know that we just released a track named Kuya,
Yes.
named after her. And it's been a tough year for her, but she's pulling through. Having dogs is always a stress with the health issues and things that can arise just randomly. And that's something we had to face exactly a year ago. But
But she's come a long,
she's
long
doing
way.
great, though.
Even the doctors are surprised. They're like, how did you do this?
Wow.
Because medicine, Western medicine, they're like, take these and they'll only last this long. And we're like, forget all that, natural supplements, healthy foods.
Oh, no way. That's what you guys did?
Yeah, we fixed
They're
it.
like, when it's a heart condition, there's really no supplements you can do to repair the heart. And I'm just like thinking in my head, like,
That's not true.
what? Like, I used to work in the naturopathic field, like I guess I was just like a salesperson in a naturopathic store, but I learned a lot during those 3 years.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, taurine, carnitine, like all these things repair the heart, and you can. So that's what we did. And now her last appointment, the vet was like, give me her natural supplement regimen. Like, I want to help other dogs this way. And we're like, yes, what a victory,
Changing the
Crazy.
narrative for the vets.
Yeah.
Wow, so good.
Yeah.
So you guys are looking forward to getting back home, give her a hug, chill out.
2 weeks more and we're back.
Cool. Well, guys, welcome back to Bali. Congrats
you.
on playing Zamna, which is obviously one of the bigger festival brands right now in the scene. How happy are you was it your first time playing with Zamna?
Yes, it was actually. Funny enough, it's this far away from home because Zamna's from Mexico. We're raised in Mexico, but it was our first one with them. Our second time with Savaya, and they always exceed expectations. We really love it. The last time we played there, it was our night, so we played much later.
Yeah.
This time was in the sunset, but it was full house, great energy.
Yeah.
It's nice to set the vibe. We were able to play some of our music and some of our colleagues' music that is not normally fitting in our sets because of the time that we're playing it. We can't always play this kind of more warm up sound in
more
the afro
chill
space. So it was really nice for us to change.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, I didn't get to make it to day one. I got to day two, which was like Medusa, Korolova.
I saw your stories. I was like, where was he?
Yeah. I mean, the production was insane.
Yeah, it was really, really top.
Cool. So you guys have been to Bali a few times now. How do you guys feel about the evolving music scene here?
Honestly, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's come so far and I feel like so fast. Like I was telling you on the ride over, our first time here was 2018 and it was a totally different island. We came here to get away from the scene we stayed 5 weeks in Ubud and we just was relaxing, yoga and meditation and taking it very easy. Because we're like, where is there no music, no scene, no friends? And fast forward a couple of years, it's the exact opposite.
It's full on.
Yeah, it's like everyone we know from all over the world's moving here or visiting, or DJs we see in passing from, coming from other countries. A bunch of us are here from ADE, Kasongo, Sin City, us, like we're all playing this week. And so it's really come a long way. The scene is incredible.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I always mention how I've been here 2.5 years, and just from that point until now, like the scene is just growing so much. More people got their eyes on Bali.
Definitely.
It's cool.
Definitely. I mean, it's the best thing I think about Bali is there's something for everyone. They have Savaya and Desa and Atlas and these really big, like super club style venues, but then they also have very cool intimate spots like
Miss
Miss Fish,
Fish, yes.
or like Bella, where the kitchen turns into the DJ booth.
Yeah.
You know, it's like where the chef was making dinner, now the DJ. So it's like there's a lot of variety here if you want something kind of more on the dinner side or a full party.
It's really cool to have like beach vibes, but then also have like super clubs that are done well. Like all the equipment is like up to date. You know, everything sounds good, everything feels good. Sometimes you go to places, you know, like Mexico, and it's like everything's a little shoddy. You're like, this is
worn out.
These monitors are
salt in the
questionable.
sand wears everything down for sure.
Yeah.
So it's cool here because you get like luxury, but also like super sunny and warm and good vibes.
Cool. Amazing. Man, you guys are always looking great, taking care of yourselves. A huge part of what you. Yeah, thank you. I'm trying. In the midst of the chaos of the nightlife, it's hard.
Not easy.
Yeah, for sure. So I touched on that because a major part of what you guys promote online is the healthy lifestyle, and I was curious, like, in the midst of traveling, changing time zones, all of that stuff, how do you manage to have the discipline and just like the energy to make healthy living a priority? Yeah?
Sure. Yeah,
She's the anchor?
We kind of switched roles. When I first met Chris, he was personal training, actually. That was his job.
Yeah.
And he really like pushed me to focus. And I don't know, I guess I just took that and ran with it. But aside from just working out, a lot of it is what you eat, what you put in your body. Like you are what you eat, right? So we are plant-based and very focused on animal rights and, you know, just eating clean and organic as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
But also combating, for women especially, you know, maybe a little off topic, but hormonally for women, this is a very challenging industry for us. Flying and water retention and hormones, and it can be really intense. And I talk to a lot of female traveling artists about this, and they're all really struggling. So we're all kind of like, we have a little community. We're helping each other out with, there's certain herbs you can drink, and there's ways you can combat it, but we work hard at it.
Yeah, over the years, I mean, because we all come into this industry kind of from the same place, which is partying a lot.
Yeah, bro.
Right? This is if you're not at the club, if you're not, you know, trying to play, or if you're not an after party meeting a certain somebody, you need to be out, and in more cases than not super healthy through the whole beginning of your career. Dude. But as you get bigger and bigger and you start traveling more and more, you got to kind of have to make that choice. Like, do I want to keep drinking a bottle of tequila every night and being at the airport at 9 a.m.?
Yeah.
You know, we did that again for a long time because it's hard to transition. You know, this is a career that is emphasized and around partying, and people that are maybe either on vacation or they're one night out a week, and your whole life is this. So you have to decide, like, do I want to do this for a long time, or do I want to wear myself out by, you know, being the life of the party where you're indulging the same way? Because you can be very professional, full of energy, and having an amazing time without indulging. And that's what you have to learn how to do. And, you know, pick and choose your days that you want to, you know, let loose a little bit. But otherwise, it's a job. You don't go to the office and drink a bottle of tequila and no other jobs, you know?
So true. Yeah.
So that's something that we have to, as artists, you have to kind of come and decide, like, how do you want to do it? Because I know a lot of people that were around from the generation before who didn't chill at all, and their health complications now are crazy. You know, it's just like, the problems with liver and veins and everything, heart and whatever, you know, and it's like, now you have to take time off. And the sad reality in this business, and especially in the modern world's attention span, is that if you're not in people's face all the time, you're forgotten. Yeah. So you can't really take time off for your health. You got to stay healthy and stay working.
It's so true.
So this is what it comes down to. I mean, how serious are you? You know?
Well, man, I'm so glad we're talking about this, because this is like a mental thing I'm thinking about a lot myself. Like, I see another level for myself in everything I'm doing, and I know getting there is the extra time I need to put in, and I can literally think of the days, and I calculate the amount of hours that I lose because I let the night take me sometimes when I'm out. And I'm like, man, if I can just like really just double down and focus a bit more and let go of that temptation or not give into it really, I can really break through to that. But it's hard because the influence, the temptation is real.
I'm not pouring the shots. Some promoter is pouring the shots.
Or fans, or it's fans, and they like have a drink with us. So now we're starting to like, you know, sip it, like pretend you have it, and then put it off to the side.
Shots,
and then the busser comes and takes it, and you're like, it's all yours, buddy.
Yeah, because there's those nights where you go and you are drinking a lot, and like for her, for example, she only has half shots at a time, and they'll take it away before she can even finish it. She's like, what the fuck? You took it away again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, but that's the good thing. You can do this, you know, just take a little sip and put it away. Try to drink more water than anything else.
Yeah.
And this is the key. But you still got to enjoy your life every now and again. Have your night out. But when you're always out, that's when it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I gotta say no. Yeah.
I feel like the first step is like just being aware of it. Some people aren't even aware. They're just going.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of DJs I know now that they just don't drink, period, anymore. They don't have a single drink at any show ever.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like, because it's almost, you have to get that extreme. Otherwise, the lines are blurred, you know, and you're like, sure, 1, okay, 4, 07, 010, you know? But
well, every
after
year
party
that
later.
you age, even those 2 shots were fine 2 years ago, but now those 2 shots aren't so fine anymore. And you're at the airport and you're like, why am I hungover? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I'm not saying we're definitely not old folks, but there's certainly a difference between when we were like 21, 22, 23 to now, right?
Of course.
For sure.
Crazy. Cool. So in today's talk, I've basically separated to talk a little bit about the intro, of course. We'll connect more, speak a bit about production, talk about DJing, performance, all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to talk a bit about production. And we spoke briefly about this in the car ride over. You guys have been releasing like super consistently. And I was curious, like, what's the work ethic, or like, how did you have to position yourself to have songs coming out like so frequently and staying on schedule like that? Because I feel for me right now, like my focus is to get the calendar full for next year. And that involves like shopping my songs, hoping they get signed, and then waiting for them to give me a date. But it seems like you guys have so much down the pipeline that it's just like nonstop. So how did you lead up to that point to having so many consistent releases like that?
I feel like the thing when you see artists a lot of times where they have that really rigorous schedule of releases, the tracks date back quite a ways. So what ends up happening is, say, songs from last year, you sign them maybe last year or every couple months throughout that year, and then the schedule starts filling up as those songs are coming out. You need to communicate with the A&R and the label and distributions to say, like, I have a song coming out this date, so you can't be within 3 weeks of that, because we learned that the hard way too, where we had a confusion where we had 2 releases on the same day, and it knocked both of them out of existence. The stats, the streams,
months of work, just like
like because they were just Spotify and these programs, they see like if too much is happening at once, they don't know where to put the kind of like the spotlight, and then both of the releases kind of just got like shoved to the side. Beatport as well. So the key is, it doesn't necessarily matter how often you're putting out the music, but it needs to be spaced out at least a few weeks between releases to give campaigns time to be reached, to allow playlist curators to find the music, play the music, put it in their page. And then as your catalog keeps growing and you keep releasing music, you can then say, okay, I have this song, I put it to this label, maybe you have the next 3 months is already set for music. Now on the 4th month, they're ready to release it. And then another one is on the 5th month, and you kind of go like this.
Got it.
But so our focus from the beginning was always production and creating, and even our sets on our YouTube page blew up because we were doing everything live, you know?
Yeah.
I think if you're a real artist and you're in this industry to make music and to create, you know, beauty and share warm energy and happiness, it's important to showcase that live and show what you can do and have a studio. You know, like even when we were living in a tiny little apartment in Tulum, when we had restarted our entire lives, we had a tiny little studio that we were working out of. It's important.
Yeah, I mean, something. It can be a laptop.
Yeah.
You know, like, for example, you have me and Rampa who work out of unreal analog studio.
Yeah.
And then Adam Port, who's written everything he's ever written on a laptop.
Wow.
Only laptop. That's what he likes to do. He doesn't want all the gear externally. So with technology now, you don't have to have an elaborate studio. We have a ton of gear that we don't even use.
Oh, no
I
way.
like it. Like I'm old school. I like collecting records and guitars. And so I like,
We
all
like to touch things.
yeah, the
with our
rack
hands.
and the gear and all this stuff, but it's like we don't need all of that or use even half of it sometimes. So it's just, for a young artist that want to make music, whether it's like learning tutorials on YouTube or just messing around, just make stuff,
Got it.
Make stuff. Maybe not everything you make will be worth it to come out, but keep playing, right? Keep trying stuff. That's
In
the
the
key.
beginning, we were buying a lot of used equipment
Yeah,
just
that
to
too.
touch it, feel it, see what sounds it makes, and then just throw it to the side. And now it's just an art piece. But,
It's true.
but yeah, I mean, you got to take it seriously.
Cool. So is it accurate to say that the way that you've been able to get to a point where there's just constant music coming out was because in the beginning you guys were just creating and submitting so many songs to different labels, and that gave you that frequency now?
I think it's the truth is it's forever ongoing. So there's times throughout the year where we are home more.
Yeah.
And those are times that we really like to finish projects. And so we will either like create ideas on the road, either renting studios, friends' studios, or just a laptop. And then we will finish those projects at home. So if we have 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off, we will really work hard. But we try to get ideas down before so you don't get home and you're like, what do we write? Because that happens to everybody. It's like writer's block. So the idea is always kind of jot down ideas, take inspiration from places, listen to other artists' music, listen to music that's nothing to do with the music you're writing, get ideas, chord progressions and melodies
Lots
and
of
things.
voice notes in my phone.
Yeah, exactly.
I come
nice.
home and I have to like sift through like 200 voice notes of different random riffs that I'm singing at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Cool.
See if I can
And,
put
and
them
this is it. And just keep submitting and keep, waiting on that timeline. Like I was telling you earlier, some music we wrote 2 years ago just came out like 6 months ago. So it's a crazy process. And that's another reason we started our record label, Hands of Time, because we wanted to be able to fast track the release schedule to whatever we want.
Right.
We don't have to wait on A&R. We don't have to wait on the label's schedule.
Yes.
Because, big labels, they have a lot of people submitting. They're probably getting thousands of demos a year, and they're only putting out maybe 15, 20 tracks. So they have to sift through even a lot of good music, but not quite what they're looking for at that moment. And labels are always changing.
Yeah.
You make a song, you're like, oh, that song is a lot like a song that was on this label, and you send it to the label, and they're like, we're not doing that style anymore. You're like, are you serious?
Yeah.
So that's why we did our own label, was an opportunity for us to put music out at any schedule we want.
Yeah.
So that's,
Cool. Man, that gives a lot of perspective and like a lot of reality to the fact that usually in a calendar year, I guess a label's not going to put out more than 12 to 15 songs. But then think of how many people are submitting songs to a label.
Of course.
Like so much gets pushed by the wayside.
I mean, if you think about how many songs are coming out on Beatport in a month, it's like way more than 1,000 tracks a month, right? Amongst all the labels out there. So if you're talking the top tier of your sound, it's a lot to fight through to get that song out there. But that's why a lot of people are starting their own labels.
Makes sense.
We're in an age now where you can distribute your own music. I mean, everything, almost everything falls into the underground and in a way that you can, people come up with a new label that's small, but they do well. Or they have, some contacts that do good playlists and the tracks do amazing. You don't have to necessarily be with the biggest label, especially if you're trying to build your catalog of music. You want to get things out, get it out.
For
Put it out yourself. Or DistroKid or hype edits, like the Spotify or SoundCloud free download stuff. Like just get the music out.
For sure.
It will get in the right hands. And then maybe a big label will say, hey, I'd like one of your tracks.
Yeah.
Because that happens too. You get to a point where labels start asking you for music rather than you submitting and hoping for the best.
Yeah, I've heard these stories.
Yeah.
Cool. Speaking of voice notes, what was the first moment or project that you knew, Sheena, your vocals were going to be on a song for you two, and you knew was going to be part of your performance, like when you're gigging and stuff?
I think Lazard was our first vocally.
Yeah. 2017, I guess.
Yeah. It's not my favorite.
No?
I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
But But at that time, I was like super proud of it, and it was created in a tiny little Tulum recording studio.
Cool.
With a hippie man. And yeah, I still have a place for it in my heart, but I definitely won't be playing it anytime soon.
Fair enough. Did you guys, like, was it when you first formed the duo, did you know right from the jump that you were going to be putting vocals on songs?
100%.
Or were you? Oh, yeah?
100%.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Well, we started this group really early, like 2015.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was always the goal because Chris, was a drummer growing up and played guitar.
Yeah.
And I've been singing in bands my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I was like the star child of my family. My mom was like a stage mom. She's pushing me to like all these singing competitions all around my area.
Nice.
So yeah, I knew I wanted to create something with him. The minute we met, we just connected, and it was like we have to do a live band, and then it just progressed because Chris was, DJing in college, and
just
he's
kind
like,
of,
if we do an indie band, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, the world changed,
Right.
with music and stuff, and when I went to university, I was told exactly that. Like, if you still want to perform, if you still want to get girls, don't hit me. Yeah. You got to be a DJ now. I was like, okay. So I look into it, I learn about it, and there was music back then that kind of crossed into the bridge of some of the harder rock I was listening to at the time. I was like, okay, dubstep and these things.
Oh.
And then I met some guys who had a more like developed taste, and it was tech house, but the good tech house from back in 2012 and 13.
Yes.
And then it progressed like that. Then I stopped. We met, but said let's do this, and picked up quickly. I mean, the scene in Toronto was very receptive to us. Guys like Ralph and that team. And we just kind of kept going with it year by year. And then we had to actually learn how to make music, which we wrote a lot of shitty music that will never see the light of day, but you got to learn. And
yeah, but we did wait a few years before we decided to go with like the full live performances. Like in Toronto, I was never singing. We were just basically learning to DJ. The minute he taught me, we started playing basically within the next 2 weeks. So our gigs were like practice for me anyways.
Yeah.
And I was not about to start singing and DJing at the same time, mixing at the same time. So
True.
Cool. What was the segue? So I guess originally when you got together, it wasn't the focus of Afro House, right? It was different genres. You're talking about indie, tech house, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it started in tech house, and then we moved down to Tulum, and that like opened this whole shamanic organic. I mean, like when it was at its peak, really, right? Like,
melodic techno era too.
Yeah, we put out a lot of actually melodic techno music over the course of the last 10 years, but the music that we were performing and the style that we were playing, especially in Tulum on the beach, was like down tempo, like 96 BPM to like 115. So like way deep.
Down tempo
the mushroom,
for real.
The mushroom
Gave me a
music.
lot of space to like learn my voice, when something's that slow and organic, it was like you get to really like find your voice, find out what you want to sing. Basically, I learned how to chant different things, make different bird sounds, make different,
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a fun time.
Cool. Man, I want to talk about that leap of like packing everything, following a dream and moving to another country. What was the inspiration and the origin idea to say, we're done with the city and we're going to pack up and move to Mexico?
I mean, it was similar to yours.
Yeah?
We had our own Ralph, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he was like, come down, because we had played BPM Festival the year before. That ended in tragedy. We were like, maybe we're never going to go back to Mexico. It was really traumatic. But then a year later, friends like, Tulum is becoming something. Come down, you have a place, stay for a while, see how it goes. We got some residency opportunities. Cost of living down there was so low back then.
Yeah.
Like, we can actually do okay.
Yeah.
So it just was sort of like he was like, came for a couple months, stayed a year, stayed 2 years. Now we're coming up on 7 years.
Wow.
Worst thing we ever did though was put things in storage.
Yeah.
If you're moving, just sell it off or
Let
get
it
rid
go?
of it.
Yeah,
Like, let it go.
yeah.
Like, we were holding on to like toasters, like the most random shit.
Yeah, I can't. And
Like
you know,
as if we were
toasters
coming
back in
back.
Canada.
yeah, Canada, and you know the storage facility costs in Canada, the U.S. are crazy. So
Oh, man.
we probably could have bought everything twice with how much we could, but we just weren't sure. You know,
We were
you're
in that
tippy-toeing.
small-minded, you know,
Yeah,
like I
you're
have to
tippy-toeing.
hold on to it
Yeah.
type energy. And now looking back, it's like the best thing you can ever do is just minimalize your life, you know?
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Wow. Was it scary? Did you take a long time to make the decision? Like, what gave you guys the confidence to say, like, man, we're out of here. We need change? Because I think a lot of people listening, they kind of flirt with this idea, but like, I feel like humans, we're creatures of habit. We don't like to leave our domains. It's hard to mentally break free of some of the stuff that's in our systems and economies and stuff. Like, what gave you guys the confidence to say, like, I'm out, let's go? Did you see something bigger for yourselves?
I think we spent so many like mornings, like sunrises, just like gazing at the sun and just realizing like we could live on the beach, you know, as opposed to living in a tiny little box, you know,
city.
corner unit or looking over a stinky lake, you know, like
I think-
rainfall every day,
Yeah.
snowfall every day, like can't go outside or you get blown down some street because the wind is just insane.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was a no-brainer for us. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I
like you
think-
choose happiness or just, you know,
same.
mundane.
The reality is for people that are lacking the confidence to make the leap, you have your whole life, whether that's a long time or a short time. If you have something that's calling you to do it, just try it.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? You fail at it and you go back to what you had before.
Yeah.
You know, or rebuild that, whatever that was before. But if you don't try, how will you ever know what you could have done? You know? Life's too short to not take a risk. If you have something in like that you think you can do or you have an opportunity that makes sense for you to try, you don't just like go somewhere with nothing going on for yourself. But if you have a plan, if you're creative or you have an online business and you think you can run it from where you're going, just try it. Just try it. Go somewhere and do something new because it might change everything for you. And if it doesn't work, you just go back, you know?
Right.
And most people don't go back. I don't know anybody that made the leap and had to, you know, retreat.
Right.
So I think you just go for it.
Not once you have like those like, you know, travel skills. Like once you uproot your life once, it becomes a lot easier to like do it again or find an even cooler spot, you know?
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
okay, maybe it's a little too pricey here for me. It's not really working for me where I am right now, but maybe I can move like,
Somewhere
you know,
else, yeah.
2 hours away. Maybe there's more opportunity there. Like as opposed to going all the way back to maybe where your family's from or where you were raised. You know, once you've done it, it's over. You
can
know,
do it,
you
yeah.
can do whatever you want from there.
Amazing. I just want to stay here for a minute because I feel like some of these stories and moments can be super impactful for people that are like hesitating and want to take the leap. Can you guys think of any moments like once you had already taken the leap and you're in Mexico and you're trying to get your careers going and make a name for yourself that were like really tough moments where maybe you question, do we need to go back? Is this too much? Did we jump too far? And how did you guys overcome those trials and tribulations?
I mean, I think the only time that we had that kind of feeling was in the pandemic, because that was when it was like, what do we do for work? You know, families like, come home. The government will give you some money. It's like, you know
we
what?
were getting the text messages like, you know,
Yeah.
you can get this much allowance every month if you come back. And also like, you're going to die in Mexico. Like they really like the fear mongering was so intense.
Yeah, it's true. But no, I think that
we're
was
savages. So we were like, nope.
Yeah, I think that was probably the only time. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody knows the internet and social media sugarcoats the perfection of life, which is not perfect. There's always struggles. There's always difficulties. But it was the same before we did this. There was always, because we were always self-employed. We were always entrepreneurs. So whether it's the music business or our previous businesses, we were reliant on ourselves to succeed. And now, thankfully, we have a team that works for us and makes sure that we are succeeding and getting what we need done. Because at the end of the day, like being comfortable in something, it's not even possible anymore. people have careers 15, 20 years and they just get laid off. It's just like, what? Like,
Yeah.
that's all I know how to do.
Yeah.
I don't know how to run a business. I don't know how to, invest or prepare myself for things. I'm just used to getting a paycheck. So it's like, that to me is scarier than what we do.
Trusting yourself.
Yeah.
It's all risky. Life is risky.
Yeah, life is risky. So I think it's, if you have something that you can do, and there's so many options now in the world, just do it, because you will push yourself to succeed way better than doing
Not
a
only
job
if
for
you're
someone.
passionate about it,
Of course.
Like some people have skills, but they're like, I'm good at it. I don't really like it.
Just going
Don't
through the
do that.
motions. Yeah.
But we live in such a weird time now where it's like, you want to sell these mugs on Amazon, you can make $50K a month.
Yeah, bro. No, it's crazy.
You know what I mean?
No, it's really a
this
crazy
is where
world
we're
like
at.
that.
Where we're at.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know what? I bought some ATMs, and now I'm making like $5 million a year filling ATMs. It's like there's so many things you can do.
Yeah.
You don't need to just work for somebody anymore, even if you don't have a passion or a super skill. You just got to be strategic.
Smart.
Yeah.
Do a little bit of research.
Yeah,
Open a
exactly.
YouTube video, learn something. Yeah.
YouTubers. There's YouTube kids that
it's
are
crazy
probably
time, man.
there's like I see like 8-year-olds that are richer than black coffee, bro.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's the opportunities are endless now.
Yeah.
You don't need to be stuck in anything you don't want to be in.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, sometimes it irks me a bit. Like I'll be scrolling on like TikTok, and I'll see like he's like, I'm 16 years old and I have a TikTok shop and I make $25K a month, and I'll teach you how to do. I was like, should I maybe start a TikTok shop? Like extra $25K a month might
true.
be okay.
It's true, right? And if you have the time and the mental space to do extra things, jump on them. But the truth is like we can literally do anything now with the internet,
Yeah, but coming back to Sheena's point, I think being passionate about what you're doing is super important, because although it's an abundant time with opportunities, those opportunities can pull you away from your purpose and what you really should be doing.
This is true.
For sure. Cool. I have one more question just in the production category. Are there any big labels that you guys aspire to release with, or any big up-and-coming releases you could tell us about either this year or next year? Or?
Honestly, we're really, really focused on our own label. We have submitted some stuff to some labels that we have not yet signed with.
Yeah.
One of which is in the process. Won't say yet until it's done.
Sure.
Not jinxing
Don't
nothing.
jinx it.
But we've been very fortunate throughout the sounds that we have produced. We've signed with a lot of tier 1 labels, Abracadabra, Crosstown Rebels, the Soundgarden, so we have a good variety. Now we're starting to do a lot more stuff with South African labels. We're working on a really special track actually with these vocalists from South Africa. They're like 6 young kids, really. And they got viral on Instagram 1 or 2 years back, just like singing outside, and like they kind of have that 50s what do you call it, like choir style, where they all like sing in different tones and key, and they sing together these beautiful songs. So we reached them,
Nice.
and we got them in the studio down there, set them up with everything, and they did an amazing job. So we're still working on that project because there's like 75 vocal channels. There's so much. They said so much. So it's like this project's
There's a soprano take. There's an alto take. There's for each person. They all have different.
Yeah. So this is
it's
a
lot
huge
of
project.
sifting through vocals, and they're not my vocals. So it's like a whole other beast. I'm like, okay, if I lay this out this way, are the lyrics going to make sense? Like, I need to know exactly what each word means, first of all, because you can chop things up. But, like, I don't want to lose the meaning of the song. They wrote the song, right? Like, they wrote the vocals. So it's, like, a very tedious project.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's probably the longest. When it's all said and done, it'll probably be the longest project we've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are your vocals on it as well, on the song?
I was thinking of maybe adding something, but I'm not sure yet. We have to see, like, where we're at once we... move everything, and
there's more vocalists than instruments already.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Wow,
like
yeah.
there's seven. I think there's seven of them.
Crazy.
So, but it's very cool. It's very beautiful. It's going to be an amazing project, but it's a long one.
It's a big one.
So
yeah.
that we don't know where we'll put that yet, but we got to finish it first before we can decide. Yeah.
Right. Do you guys think, like, I'm just curious, so you've got your own label now, and having your own label gives you the ability to release whenever you want to and not be at the mercy of, like, the gatekeepers and their schedule and that kind of thing. But do you think it's important when you're building your career to not necessarily try and do a label yourself in the beginning and then leverage sort of like the fame / awareness, if that makes sense, of the bigger labels to help bring you up personally, and then that gives you the ability to launch a label, or the credibility, I guess you could say?
I think it can go both ways, because with marketing and stuff now, you can make your label everything. Because labels, it's not like Universal and Sony where they have these hundreds of thousands of dollars in marketing budget. The labels don't put money behind your music. It's the artist's job now. If they want to make sure their song does super well on Spotify and things, they need to run campaigns. They need to do the discovery modes in Spotify and things. So the money and the investment is relied on the artist anyways. The credibility of the bigger labels can be very helpful. And if that label has a showcase, it could possibly get you shows. So there is definitely a lot of benefit to it. But we've seen artists, young guys coming up right now that maybe they made an unofficial remix, put it on SoundCloud and YouTube, and it got really popular. And then the label, like Sony or Universal, gets them to make an official release of it. So you can just do something super underground, nobody behind you, nothing special, maybe some big DJ plays it, it gets popular, and then all of a sudden the big label wants to sign the track. So it can go from both ways. I think the best thing to do is make the music, put it out however you can.
Yeah.
Always strive for the big labels, of course, but don't sit with an empty catalog waiting for that moment. Because sometimes big labels don't want to even put you on until you have some credibility, some Spotify monthly listeners and these things.
Got it.
You know?
So it's a combination of like shopping to the big labels, the small labels, distributing stuff yourself if you can, DistroKid, SoundCloud, all these channels, just staying busy.
Exactly.
Cool. Nice. Moving into the section talking about performing and DJing, maybe you each have one, but what would be your favorite show you guys have ever done so far in your career? Which country? What time?
What's yours?
I need a minute to think. There's so many.
I know that's true. There is a lot.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about this the other day. Somebody had asked me this question, and I was having a really hard time trying to pinpoint that because there's so many places and there's so many different.
Even within 1 month, you guys are around the whole world.
Exactly. So. One of my favorite places to play in the world, regardless of venue or time of day, is Lebanon.
Man, I hear this a lot, and I say this a lot. Everybody talks about the Lebanese crowd.
Yeah, Lebanon is a very special place.
Cool.
I also very much enjoy Argentina. Argentina is a wild party place.
Freaking everybody says the exact same party two places.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the truth is almost everywhere is great. But I think about like some of the most memorable shows. And I think those two countries are definitely way up there.
Cool.
Definitely.
Nice.
I mean, of course, Ibiza.
Yeah?
Still thinking.
Wow.
Like,
I think my favorite show this year, though,
Yeah.
was for Pablo Fierro's We're Here in Chinua Ibiza.
Well, cool.
I think that was probably one of my favorite shows this year. Yeah.
The production always looks super crazy for the We're Here showcases.
Very
Like it's crazy tribal, like costumes, lights are nuts. The setup's just wild.
Yeah, it's a
lot of live instrumentation, I think, usually.
Exactly, yes. And the setup of that venue is amazing. I don't know if you've been.
I haven't yet,
It used to
no.
be Heart. It was owned by Guy Liberté, and it was, I don't know if he built it from scratch from the first time, but the layout is very cool. There's people all around you, which is always a nice vibe. You know, you have the arced backstage, full front. It used to be 2 floors when it was Heart, actually, which was kind of cool in a different way. But the whole thing's projections. It's all screens. So you're like submerged in like an IMAX theater sort of vibe, you know? But with an incredible sound system. Yeah, I'd say it was definitely...
I agree.
Yeah.
It was a bucket list moment for me. I love the 3D mapping or like the screening was just like all the way around. You just get completely submerged in the vibe, the atmosphere. It's like, can't even look up sometimes. It's just too trippy. It's like too much focus.
Nice. staying on this performance topic, Sheena, when you're performing, obviously you're singing some of your own vocals to your own tracks, but then also maybe there's some like organic moments where you're just going for it, like freestyling. What's your preparation process like? Do you know exactly where and when you're going to sing during a set, or is a lot of it free flowing, or?
Well, sometimes, you know, I'll listen in when we're putting the set together. Chris likes to organize everything. He has a system and a flow, and I'll kind of put my 2 cents in if I think, you know, this intro track will be better at the end, or, you know, whatever. But that's my time to kind of go over where I want to put vocals. There's a lot of tracks now that we play that already have vocals. So you got to be careful where you add, because it can take away from the vocal in the track, or you can just completely mangle the song like very easily if you're doing something and then this vocal comes in and it's like, you know,
it's too heavy.
Yeah, it's just too much. But I learned some Hindi a couple years ago. So I learned those scales, and that really helped as opposed to just doing like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do to like warm up. It's a completely different scale, and it gave me so many like semitones that I couldn't find before with my vocals, especially like on the fly on stage. So I like to work with that scale to prepare my voice beforehand, so I have it in my head. But yeah, most of what I do is just in the moment. I like to feel the song, feel the crowd, feel the energy, and just kind of snowball off of all that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sometimes you're even the hype man and you get people going and you just say stuff too.
Yeah.
Nice.
If the vibe's right and everyone's like really, if you have them, you know.
MC
Cool. Nice.
I've done some crazy stuff on the mic for sure.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's like a combination of preparing, so you're not just like scrambling, figuring out what to do, but then you leave a bunch of room just to free flow and be organic.
Yeah.
And she harmonizes her own voice on our productions that have her voice too.
Yeah, like I'm never the lip syncing artist. If you hear a song that's already been released and you know the words or the vocals, I'm always adding something more to it or singing over it. Like I'll never have my mic off. Like I'm not that girl. I'm not that vocalist.
Right.
And there's a lot of them out there. So I make a really big point to, if you're coming to see me live, like I'm going to be live. Like there's no way. I'm cheaping out on you.
Got you. Cool. No, it's super nice. Chris, talk about this drum pad that stays with you, traveling with it, always getting utilized when you're performing. What does it mean to you? Why do you use it so much?
Well, it's such a great live element tool it's not compact per se, but it's not like lugging live gear. You know? We're making that transition actually to full live this year, 2025.
Oh, yeah?
So that will be a another beast with the checked baggage and a lot more gear, of course, a lot more risk. But in the last few years, that drum became like a staple in our show, and also we use it in production. It has tons of presets already built in. You can put your own stems and samples in as well. You don't have the touch feel that it gives, because it's actually a very realistic drum. Based on where you hit the pad and how hard you hit the pad, it responds accordingly.
Nice.
In the natural presets of the machine. So, and it has everything. I mean, there's like dubstep drop sounds in there and everything. There's hundreds and hundreds of sounds. Like I have the ones that I use the most and, work with a lot. But this tool is just something that gives a lot of diversity to the music and energy to a song without taking up a ton of space.
Right.
This is the second one I've had. The last one, which I used for years, like religiously, it died on New Year's Eve last year.
Come on, not during a performance.
At the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve. But what are the odds? It's like, I'm not coming with you into 2024. It's like our journey ends
Didn't
here.
Didn't it make some like really weird sounds for a little bit?
It would would work, and then I'd hit it and it would shut off. And it'd be drumming and it'd shut off. No. And it's just like, this is it. I'm done. 2023 is my last year. Wow. So I brought it home. I'm probably gonna like frame it or make something cool with it, like for its years of service.
Yeah.
Because it's been everywhere. It's beat to death because I wear rings and stuff, so that all the edge of the paint is all ruined. But I got a new one that right at the beginning of last year, and now this is like my new baby. It comes everywhere.
Nice.
But it's an amazing tool. I'm seeing a lot more artists actually are using them now.
Same. Yeah. I think it's really cool too because a lot of times in songs there can be like super dramatic drops and breaks, and sometimes those breaks are like a little excessive. Like, let's be honest here, not to take away from the producer and what their vision was with the song, but
in a club setting versus a listening setting, it changes a lot of these things, right? But that's actually another reason that we want to go full live is because a lot of people are implementing what we started 4 or 5 years ago, which is the singing and the drums. It's like, okay, we have to go above and beyond now. And we're not so special with that anymore. So now it's like, okay, fine, we got to go somewhere even more complicated, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why we're making the transition. But these tools will still be in the show.
Cool.
This drum machine will stay with me.
And the guitar will come back?
Here and there.
Oh.
Yeah, but we did for a long time, especially like she was saying, it's easier with the slower music. You have a little more time to do things. It was easier to play guitar and the drum and harmonicas and flutes and different shit during a calmer set. But when you're trying to DJ, which is a job of its own, and play a bunch of instruments, it's hard to stay on top of. So going into the live, having the automated, quantized backing tracks enables you a lot of freedom to do her with vocal looper, so she can have a bunch of her voices going. I can play guitar for the big shows and synthesizers, drums, these things. So we have kind of more like a studio jam rather than like a sweating trying to play instruments and DJ at the same time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll bring the tambourine back for sure. That's his favorite one. Cowbell, maybe.
She's fucking with you.
No, I like it. It's cool because I like how you're always innovating and thinking about the next step, because I feel like the Afro house space and just DJing in general, it's like super oversaturated and becoming like very competitive. So it's nice that your mindset is like, you know, what can we do now that we see other people trying to kind of emulate what you guys are already doing with vocals and drums and stuff.
Absolutely.
It's cool, staying ahead. Nice. I want to talk a bit about like social media, branding, marketing, that kind of stuff, because I feel like it's just an extension. It's such a huge part of us now. And I think it's like vital to stay relevant in the scene and in the industry. So you both synergize so well with your main page and your individual pages, and you have like a really cool, cohesive aesthetic and vibe that you've both built. And even though you have your own individual pages and then the main one, everything seems to just work so well together. Can you talk about how you evolved that aesthetic and how you're managing to maintain a strong social media presence?
I think it's because we're just
ourselves.
Just literally just ourselves. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's something that we've always been good at. I mean, you coming from a modeling background as well, like before music really took off, we did a lot of brand collaborations and photo shoots for magazines or cars or these things. So we know our way around that, which is not for everybody. And it's very complicated that we're in a scene now where you have to be a producer, you have to be a DJ, and you have to be like a public figure, which is like almost a full contradiction of what all DJs used to be, which is like introverted, weird. You know what I mean? Like they're musicians, they're creatives, they're internal people. Now you have to be like, hey guys, come to my show, click the link below. It's like all this. It's like so forced and it's a bit uncomfortable. But
we had a couple good years there where it wasn't the priority, but it's back and we're just like, just leave me alone. Let me grow old in peace.
So it's something that is, like you said, it's so integral now, but it's not for everybody. And I think a lot of people now require like a social media strategists or somebody to like tell them what to do. And there's a lot of fabricated artists now, unfortunately, where they just came out of nowhere and everything's done. They have a look and a sound and someone's making their music and somebody's doing this. But it's like, if you are just an artist, you have to find your way in that. Yeah. Whether you are awkward or good at it, you got to do it, because people will also like you for being your awkward self.
There's so many people in the world, like someone's going to gravitate towards your vibe. Yeah. You just got to just be yourself.
But you have to do it. That's the thing. That's the tough thing. Everybody has to do it now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. How do you manage to find the balance though between like touring, making music, having your personal lives, and still creating content and making sure everything's posted and looking good? Is it
Personal life.
Sleep, yeah, no personal life.
Oh.
No personal life and limited sleep. No, but what I think is a key factor is, this job is usually weekends. And sometimes you're traveling during the week, but try to get content during the week. Try to get content just a couple minutes here and there each day. All you need is some photos, some videos of you doing something. If you're funny, do something funny. Just keep people engaged and feel like they know you. I think that's kind of what
people want.
That's what people want. They want to know you. So just take a couple minutes throughout the day each day. But it's like a full-time job, right? It's like going to the office. You got to set aside hours every day that you
Yeah, I definitely never thought I'd be posting like gym videos on our music page, but apparently that's what people want now too. It's like,
Wow, yeah.
no peace anymore.
Wow.
It's like you get all of it. You got it all. Take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel one of the things, because I had a small marketing business for several years, and I think why this stuff works so well is that it allows people to see a different side of you and connect with you more. And then you're also bringing value, right, by sharing stuff in the health and wellness space and stuff. Cool.
Yeah, that's how you develop real fans. They want to know about you. Like in the big celebrity world, it was like pictures of a famous person going to the grocery store and people would buy the magazine. Like,
she looks so fat.
Yeah. But it's like, so now it's like, for less famous people, a music industry of today, it's like people just want to like, if they're your fan, they want to know more about you. They want to know like what you do, or they want to see you in the studio or at the gym, so it's like, okay, they do work out, or they are eating healthy, or whatever it is. Oh, they missed that flight, they're sitting at the airport pissed. Like people just want to know like what's going on, right?
It's like a reality TV show now online.
Everyone's life is a reality TV show now.
Yeah. What a time. Cool. I have an interesting question. I always like to delve a little deep on this one. I guess you could call it the category of spirituality. So I was kind of excited to ask this because I'm just curious, like, what do you two believe in? What drives you? Aside from hard work and like the obvious, again, hard work that you have to put in to be quote unquote successful, you guys have managed a super cool lifestyle that a lot of people aspire and simply dream of. What do you guys turn to in hard times? Like, what do you believe in? What do you think is really driving you guys to get this far and still keep going?
Well, for me, in the last couple years, I've definitely, I guess through COVID, like I was more into the spiritual world. I was collecting, stones and crystals, and I was doing tarot card readings. I was living in Tulum, so it kind of goes like hand in hand. There's just so many of them.
It's like the things you need.
That was definitely where my spirituality lied, where it was like I'm putting all of my faith into myself and my own power. Like I can have anything I want. I just need to, bring that power into myself. And now I don't know what shifted for me, but in the last few years, maybe it was, my dog, who's like beyond you. She's the love of my life. She got really sick, and I just felt like I couldn't do it on my own. So I needed to come to God, and I did. I wouldn't consider myself a Christian per se, but I put my faith in God.
Cool.
And I have a very, very close bond and connection with him, so.
Wow, really nice.
Yeah, and I love talking about it. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, it's like, there's a commonality between, I think, successful people, whether we're conscious of it or not. Like, I think a lot of us believe that there's something greater at play because we know beyond our hard work and stuff, like it's more than luck. It's got to be, at least in my opinion. So I'm curious to always touch on that stuff. So I appreciate you sharing.
Yeah, it's important.
And you, brother?
Honestly, I've never been religious, but I've always followed principles of kindness and being a good person and doing the right thing. When I was growing up, like none of my family was religious, so I would read about Buddhism and these things,
cool.
and more on the spiritual side. And Sheena kind of brought me more into the focus with God and that higher power. Because I mean, for me, I always looked at it the same way. I just didn't put a name to it. You know what I mean? It's that higher power. It's that all-knowing, all-existing, like being that makes everything tick in the world, and then you put a name to it. And there's so many religions, and they all kind of follow a very similar pattern. They just all have their own name for it. Or in this part of the world where there's like 6 or 7 gods, or in the Mayan, like in Mexico where they had 6 or 7 gods. It's like, however you want to word it and put it, there is something much bigger than all of us.
Even Christians, it's like apparently, you know, the name Jesus isn't even the correct name for him. You know, like we're either pronouncing it wrong or the translation is completely off from, you know, what Jesus was, how he was referred to back in the day. So it's like none of us really know how to refer to this God or what to call him, but he's there. Yeah. And I think putting faith in that and just trusting it and having a really close connection every day is so important.
Agree. Yeah, I try to do my little thing in the morning and at night too. Just little affirmations, little prayer, something like that, because it's like life is going well for me personally in recent years. And I'm like, man, it's been such like a crazy uphill journey for myself, and like just trials and tribulations figuring out and like finally feeling that you're in alignment with what you're supposed to do. Yeah. There's like, I just got to give it up to the man, you know?
For sure. Of course. I agree with that. Definitely.
Cool.
It's a state of gratitude at all times, even in your struggles. Be grateful, because you learn from those mistakes and those problems, and life is as good as you perceive it as. You know what I mean? You see some people in the poorest places in the world with the least things, and they are way happier than the people in the richest places in the world with the most things. Yeah, it's a mentality. It's just, you know, waking up, breathing fresh air, you're alive. You know, your family is there, your loved ones are there, whatever makes you happy. There's something to be happy about every time, every day.
Super nice. Appreciate you guys sharing.
Of course.
Awesome. A few more questions, guys. Yeah. Right now, in the industry, in the scene, DJs and producers, who are your guys' favorites?
For me, I don't know about you, but for me, Shimza is running the show right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I love him. He's an amazing guy. He's an amazing person, like on a personal level. But his music, his projects, he's been doing this Christmas one-man show in South Africa every year for, I think it's been 10 years. Don't quote me. I might be wrong. But it's like a whole daytime music festival related to Christmas and underprivileged kids. And he gives like, he takes the proceeds and buys like 160 school shoes for all the underprivileged kids every year. Right? No. No, like regular, like they have like their schools like with uniforms, so like I guess dress shoes, whatever. But buys all these underprivileged kids shoes every year. Wow. And doing like these kind of, like I respect artists that, especially when you start making a lot of money, you start doing things for other people. Take care of yourself.
Altruism.
Spoil yourself, but you know, do things for the people that need it in the world. You know, because there's a lot more of them. There's a lot more of them.
Nice. Yeah, and even I mean, coming back to like Shimza's like technical abilities as a DJ, like he's fucking awesome, man. Yeah. Great performer.
Yeah. Great producer, great performer, great human. Got a good moral compass. I respect the shit out of him. You?
Yeah.
For me, I would say like I mean. Production's changing all the time. Artists are constantly changing. So maybe my favorite artist like 2-3 years ago isn't my favorite anymore. But I would say technically the best DJ, in my opinion, in the world would be Roger Sanchez. He's also a really good friend of ours. So maybe I'm not biased at all, actually. He's incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
Watching him work is just like...
4 decks at all times. Like
madness.
Yeah.
Amazing inspiration, for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Another great human, too.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Last question of the day, actually. So imagine there's a DJ or producer out there right now that's not starting from zero, but he's got a couple residencies, actively gigging, maybe has a few releases on a few small labels, but's really trying to like make that next quantum leap, break through that next level. A few gems of advice or wisdom you could give him whilst he or she is on their journey on how to like really go, let's say, international or really start taking off in his career, his or her career.
All I know is what we did, which was go on vacations, so to speak. No, like go places, whether it's just outside of where you are or far. In advance, reach out to clubs, promoters.
Like out of pocket for years. We
and just say, I'm here in these dates. Could I have a show? And they'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll give you $300. but get the show. And maybe with today's market, take that entire $300, hire a videographer to film the show, and then keep doing that because the quickest way to expand is to just keep expanding how you can. You know, if you have a residency, if you have a side job, if you have something that enables you to have a little bit of money to get outside of your routine, that will make all the difference. But you just got to be able to be out there, and you got to get out there, which a lot of people struggle with because maybe they have a day job that takes all their time. That's very difficult. But in our experience, what we did was go places, stay on friends' couches. You know, maybe they're not going to put you in a hotel. Just get around, get out there, get the flyers, and just show that you're around. Because that's what snowballs everything. It's like, you're here, you're there. Okay, we want them there, and this grows like this.
Nice.
This is the key.
Also, like YouTube videos in really beautiful locations. That was a really great tool for us, and it allowed us to, you know, get great exposure. And people were watching our videos while they were working from the computer at home. And, you know, a lot of people that you know, had parties or owned venues, that's how they saw us. Was like, okay, you guys like can kill it live. Like you captivated me I just watched your set over and over and over again. Like I need to have you. Like that's a really, really good tool, I think, nowadays.
And you can
people are stuck in the office sometimes too.
Yeah. And you can do it anywhere. It doesn't have to be a beautiful location. It could be a city rooftop. It could be, I mean, seen some cool videos that were like rooms like this with stickers all over the wall, and you put like 10 friends behind you and it's all hype. Because it's like a whole bunch of people.
Girls.
Yes. Very important.
The Hugel technique. The Hugel technique. But yeah, it's like, you know, work with what you got, show what you have, and if you stick with it, it might take 1 year, it might take 10 years. I mean, there's no timeline to when you're going to get there because there is no there. This is the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
There is no there. I mean, in one perspective, we've already surpassed what we expected, but now where we are, we're not even close to where we expect to go.
What's next?
So this is it, right? But it's a progression. It's
a journey.
Take it from where you are and go step by step to wherever it is you're trying to go.
Amazing. Big gems on Brodie Nero TV. Let's go. Guys, I want to read a few notes here. I just want to acknowledge you guys for being here and your success. And I know it's not all about material stuff, but I get super inspired by that shit. I'll keep it real. So seeing you guys modifying, customizing your new home, it's beautiful.
Thank you, bro.
Your success is obvious. And I think it's just awesome. And it's, like I said earlier, I think where you guys are at is a lot of people's dreams and they aspire to. So you're doing great work. I want to wish you more health, more power, more success. Keep rocking it. And thanks a lot for being a part of this project. It's at its early stages, but I've had some great guests so far. So I'm glad you guys could be here and help build this thing up.
Hey, we're grateful to be here. Thank you to all the viewers.
It's a full circle moment actually for us because I met you over 10 years ago. So
Yes.
it's really cool to be back in a creative space with you. And
Yeah. Who would have
really
thought
cool.
on the other side of the world?
I'm not a
Side of the
stranger.
world.
Like I know this dude. It's cool.
Nuts.
Yes, bro.
Cool.
Thank you so much. This was a pleasure.
Much love. Guys, appreciate you watching. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode. Love.